I thrift.
That's when you go downtown. Okay.
I thrift properly.
Yeah.
And there's this one time, there's this bag guy, the guy that sells bags that I was introduced to. And I was so shocked because this guy has authentic bags. Like you could get like a Louis Vuitton like bucket bag.
Right.
For a fraction of the price. And you know, some of these things are like some of these things are rejects. Yeah, you know how like they're like, you know, maybe there's a thread missing, there's something that's not even as noticeable.
Yeah.
But you know, these brands they
go to their standard.
Quality control is up there.
Right.
So most times there's a lot of rejects that somehow find their way into this town through those guys.
Welcome back to Kampala Mode. My name is Lydia and I'll be your host today as we talk about all things fashion and styling with the illustrious Tazibone Solomon. I understand your name is actually pronounced differently. Tazibone?
Tazibone.
Tazibone?
Yes.
I got it right. Yeah, thank you for making the time.
I'm super chuffed to be here.
Yeah.
I've been watching, I've been following, not very closely, but I've seen you host like very amazing, very inspiring characters. And I was like, at some point, why have I not been reached out to? You guys.
The day has come. We had to prepare properly. So yeah.
Super pumped to be here.
Yeah. And congratulations on Kredbasics. We're seeing the ready-to-wear space coming to life.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm in a very anticipatory mood.
Okay.
Because this is the very first time I'm putting something out there, and I'm just looking forward to how people are going to receive it. So it's basically a bunch of things I'm dealing with. But overall, I'm so elated it came out because it's been in the making for God knows how long. This is an idea I've had for the past year. Yeah. And I've told my friends about it, and I think it got to the point where my friends were like, solo for you, all talk and no action. Right.
I feel like there was a line that you were going to release at some point with like the jacket.
Yes. That was also an idea that was kind of like pushed forward because then I basically just wanted to do a collection of suits. But also incorporating like basically custom made like suits and whatnot. And then it was one of those ideas I was so excited about, and then at some point I just got deflated. I don't know why. And then
I was so excited.
And then this is what happened.
When it comes to
back then,
suits,
I know. Back then, I did have quite a lot of time on my hands because I was not, I did not have a formal job besides what I do, which is styling and custom making dresses and stuff. I did not have anything else that would like keep me as engaged. Okay. So then COVID happened, and right in the middle of COVID, I got a job. And this job was like almost 9 to 5, Monday to Saturday. I was doing costumes for a DSTV commission show called Prestige, and it was really taxing. It demanded me. So I could not, kind of like split myself between, that and this.
Okay, that makes sense.
But then in between, I still found time and, shot a couple of suits that I'd made. But I just realized I had to have ample time. I had to commit enough time to this project to be able to see it through. Yes.
And so now that time has come. You mentioned it being terrifying. What terrifies you about
there's a thing that I did see on the internet a while back, for every business owner when you're starting out, this person was saying they were basically just putting, like comparing the congratulations versus the actual support.
Right.
And it's like the congratulations are just
Very
quite
many,
overwhelming.
yeah.
But then when it comes to the actual support, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So that for me was like, how are people going to receive this clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, of course, a lot of congratulations. It's a lot because it's your friends, it's your family, it's people who support you, who love you, but they're not necessarily your target audience. They're not necessarily your market. So the friends are the ones to be like, yeah, do the thing. And then it's up to you to like, Jago Gure, come on by.
I know.
So I think that might be the daunting part, but the stuff is really good, and it's something that I feel like you can see like someone wearing at like brunch or like this. Like it's not overly flashy. It's very much like you can throw it on and go off. Like it's that
was the idea, because brunch culture is quite a thing in Kampala right now. And based off of personal experience, you can sweat looking for an outfit in this dusty Kampala, my friend.
Yeah.
Personal experience, because how do I put it? I like dressing for comfort, and I like for my clothes to be functional while not being over the top. Over the top is what I would do back in the day. But as I've grown, I've realized maybe I just do not enjoy to pull as much attention as I did back then. So I just want to wear something that, is easy, that is comfortable, that is functional. Something that, I can always switch up or like switch down. And that's what's what we have going on in this collection. Yes.
I do want to talk a little bit more about like your personal style and developing it to what it is now, because at least I personally am also on my own like discovery of personal style journey, because at many times I feel like you think, I'm in the fashion space, I need to be wearing the biggest, the brightest, the whatever's kind of thing. And then you find yourself feeling uncomfortable in a space. And yet there's something else that you would wear, look effortless, and then, like be fine while you have it on and still get like those compliments. How has that been for you? Like transitioning either from like being very flashy towards finding who you are?
Well, don't get me wrong, I can really be flashy when I want to, but occasionally, because I get to a point where I just get tired.
Like, these people need to know who I am.
I know.
Since I've forgotten.
But honestly, for me, just discovering my personal sense of style has not been as daunting, because I think what I do, like my career and what I do for a living, has had a lot to play. I feel like, honestly, the building blocks of like developing a personal sense of style, first of all, is to, pay attention to your body type and get to know which silhouettes flatter it. And then also I've learned recently that, you have to find what colors flatter your tones. Right. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to go to proper styling school. Because I've seen that on the internet, and I'm like, you see demonstrations and you're like, oh wow, this stuff actually really, really works. I've seen videos on TikTok where someone like puts up like a cloth and they like look right grayish. Next to the person, the client. Yes. And then a different one and they look bright, and it's like not that the color has jumped off on them, but just because it's next to them. I'm just like, hey guys. So it just, I feel like honestly learning just never ends.
True.
So body shape, skin tone, and then it's always important to find a muse, someone that inspires you. Because that in a way kind of like helps with direction and basically because I would point that I personally do not have a muse.
I was going to ask and be like,
I do not have a muse. Honestly, Because I feel like some of them are also like in a transitory, like it's a journey for them.
Yes.
So they may also end up switching.
I hear you.
You have to switch with them. So that, and then honestly, for me, developing a personal sense of style has also been about, comfort. Very, very, very important.
Yeah.
And also basically self-expression, the mood, what you're feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
True.
So I feel that's it. And basically me being a stylist means I do a lot of research, and that in a way has helped me, stay in line, and also just be inspired, learn new things, and maybe try to incorporate some that at sometimes I might be scared of.
Okay, I need to ask though, where is the best place to source clothes?
In what context?
In Kampala. Like, are we going to boutiques? Are we going to ready-to-wear brands? Are we doing the thrifting downtown thing? Are we doing custom made? What makes sense, like, according to you?
Well, it really depends, because I do all of them. I thrift.
Because when you go downtown. Okay.
I thrift properly.
Yeah.
And there's this one time, there's this bag guy, the guy that sells bags, that I was introduced to. And I was so shocked, because this guy has authentic bags. Like, you could get like a Louis Vuitton like bucket bag.
Right.
For a fraction of the price. And some of these things are like some of these things are rejects. You know how like they're like, maybe there's a thread missing, there's something that's not even as noticeable. But these brands, they
go to their standard.
Quality control is up there.
Right.
So most times there's a lot of rejects that somehow find their way into this town through those guys. So there's so much amazing stuff you could find downtown.
Does he have
like bags? I thrift clothes. And then don't get me started on the accessories, like the belts. You could find something that has character, something that's quite accented. And me as a stylist, I always have to be on the lookout. So I thrift, I go downtown, I buy from boutiques. I buy from the Gazaland people too, and then I honestly do not purchase from designers, because I also custom make. So I also custom make. But for me as a stylist, honestly, I try to exhaust all the channels and stuff.
I'm curious about like the sourcing process when it comes to, like, let's say you have a project, you're styling, someone for a music video or something like that. Do you have to buy, like, because I feel like in Uganda, it's not really a space where you can go to a boutique and be like, can I borrow clothes for for the day and then bring them back? So what is that like? Do you buy? Do you hire out? Or?
Well, it depends. There's a time I had a last minute video shoot, and at that time, typically I would never commit to a last minute project, because I need time to be able to put my best foot forward. But this time I could not, because it was like a big shot celebrity, and I was like, I was thrilled at the chance to work with them. It was Vanessa Amde. She was in town, and she had a collab with Navio, and I think it was just a last minute thing. So they're like, oh, we reached out to you, do you have some stuff that you could bring to set and whatnot? And honestly, I didn't have anything. And I didn't even have funds. So I'm like, you know what? At the time, there was Tina Bradstow. She was a friend of mine. And she had some quite uniquely interesting things. And I reached out to her, and she was pretty open to the idea. That was the very first time I sourced from a boutique. But ever since, when I have ample time, personally, I like to create, like custom make most of these things.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I like to custom make most of them because, I mean, for me, I would like the outfits in the music videos I style to be as memorable as possible, and you can't achieve that, say, if you buy things from Gazaland.
Right. Yeah.
You feel me? So yeah, I try as much to make the clothes myself.
Okay.
The accessories I pretty much purchase from the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's that pair of shades, the lace shades that you did some time back, and I was just like,
I've actually done those lace shades 3 times. The very first time was a photo shoot with Sheila Gashumba, and I remember at the time Sasha Vibes, the videographer, was a photographer at the time.
Okay. Whoa.
This was a while ago.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
We shot in Bunga. That was the very first time I did those shades, and then the second time I think I might have given them to Vinka, and I also used them on Lydia Jazmine. Yes.
Yeah, I think the Vinka moment is the one that I first saw them and stuff like that. Speaking of, you know how Law Roche, the stylist, has popularized the whole collaboration thing with their muse and stuff like that. Who is your Zendaya?
I think that's an easy one. That's an easy one. Vinka is my Zendaya.
Absolutely, yeah.
Vinka is my Zendaya. Vinka is a client that I've grown with. Initially, I met Vinka, well, she was Irene Tale's manager. And she actually reached out to me to handle costumes for Irene Tale for music videos and whatnot. At that time, it was an editorial shoot for African women that we were styling, and then we tapped Irene for that month. So when Vinka came with her and she saw me at work, and she's like, oh, you could actually, could work together, for Irene. And I'm like, okay. So we started working with Irene for quite a while. And then when Irene left Swangs, and then Vinka joined Swangs,
it was just seamless.
That's where it started.
Okay.
And ever since then, worked closely with her.
Yeah. Oh no, you guys have done some amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is it how do you, I guess, go about developing the style for her? Because I feel sometimes I've seen it as a creative myself. Sometimes you have a vision for something, you try it, and then you're like, this time almost there but not really. Then you have another chance to do a similar concept, and so you perfect it. Is that something that ever happens with you two, or you knock it out the park? Me, I may be underrating.
No, I only experience that challenge if I'm working with a first-time client.
Okay.
The very first time.
Yeah. Because
it honestly takes a while to kind of build that rapport, that understanding. But when I get the hang of it, it's quite easy for me. Yeah.
So with Vinka, how long did that take? Were you guys in sync immediately?
It was very easy because even when I used to style Irene, we used to how do I put it? Share ideas back to back every now and then.
Okay.
And also that gave me a chance to, now her personal style, because back then she was a very, how do I put it? She was quite easy. Her sense of style was tomboyish.
Oh, yeah.
More masculine leaning.
Okay, yeah.
With but with a balance of femininity. So I'd studied her for a while, and also following her personal pages, I'd seen something.
The stuff that she...
Yeah, so when we started, I already had an idea about the kind of direction she would lean towards.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, currently, as you work with her, is it always that kind of back and forth, like, you know, sharing ideas, brainstorming together, or is it like, this is the concept of the shoot, like, do your thing? How is that?
The thing I love with about working with Vinka is she gives me creative freedom.
Nice.
There's very many times, actually, sometimes when we have like a video shoot, obviously now what happens behind the scenes, like of a video shoot, or before the video is shot, is the videographer has to share treatments.
Yeah.
And that treatment basically breaks down, you know, the sets, like the scenes, and then the costume, and then how they would want the costumes to be. So they usually share that treatment with the stylist before the shoot, and then you and the artist can now, you know, have a one-on-one, where they can share what their personal, like what they prefer, or if they want like adjustments to like some of the things that the videographer has shared. Yeah. But most times I've noticed when she's busy, she would just share the treatment and be like, there's this thing I saw, maybe you can incorporate it into what you're doing. Maybe if she has like 4 outfits, she'll just share like 2 ideas.
Yeah.
And she's like, you handle the rest.
Yeah. That's dope then.
Yeah.
At least you have that moment of like doing what
and it comes with, you know, having worked together for a while.
Yeah.
I think there's trust developed.
Definitely.
Yes. And so I like to, you know, surprise my clients.
Yeah.
So most times I always like do not want to share a lot when it's in the works.
You're just like, you wait, you'll see. You'll see what I've done. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, do you remember the first time you decided that styling was for you?
The first time?
Have you always been a stylist? Let me start there.
No.
Okay.
I'm actually a graduate of microfinance. I'm a credit officer by training.
Okay. Hey, the surprises.
I've never stepped in a financial institution ever since internship.
Yeah. That was the last time you're like.
So yeah, what happened is when I completed at Chambogo, I had an issue because I handed in my dissertation late. And then when the graduation list came out, my name was not on it.
Gotcha. Huh.
And then also my transcript was delayed by a year. So I had a whole year of doing nothing. I could not apply for a job anywhere because I did not have papers. So within that year is when an opportunity came up. There was an opening for interns at Sylvia Owori at the time. And she wanted like interns because she was working on a collection. And I was like, you know, I was just out of boredom. I'm like, you know, it wouldn't hurt to try.
Okay.
And it's given because I did fine art in O and A level.
Okay, yeah.
And like I really excelled at it because I remember I got a B in A level, and in O level I must have gotten a distinction.
Yeah.
So anyway, I applied because the requirements were like you do should have been about 4 sketches, and then submit them, and then attach your resume, and I did, and then I was picked. So when I was selected, I started working in the workshop. Yeah. Yes, and then at that time, basically because there was a lot of learning involved. Yeah. I'd never been in a workshop.
Right. I wonder how that.
I did not know. I did not know, you know, the nitty-gritties involved in production. There's completely nothing that I knew. But the thing is, I think honestly, she might have seen something in me. Right. Yes. Yeah. So I started working closely with her in the workshop. At the time, we had a supervisor, an American supervisor. It was called Allison. And she then told us she was working on a collection and just needed like a very, you know, fresh input, you know. And we were actually 2. And then we were tasked with doing research because she explained her concept. And then we were tasked with doing research and then, doing the sketches and then submitting them for approval. And after that, supervising production. Now, supervising production is where you sit with the tailor and then you tell them, this is where I want the seams, I want the pockets like this, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then basically that was what I was doing at Sylvia Owori's at the time. It went on for a while, and there should have been a very last minute thing as well, because I don't know if you remember Oriflame.
Yes.
The Swedish, was it Swedish? The Swedish cosmetics thing?
Yeah, the cosmetics brand,
yes. Oriflame was shooting thing. They had tapped Juliana as an ambassador. So there was a photo shoot where they were like basically just trying to use her images to like push some of the products. And I think they had gotten a stylist, but the stylist had disappointed them. Okay. So they reached out to Sylvia and they're like, we have this shoot, we know it's very last minute, we were hoping you could, basically just come in and save the situation. I was tasked with basically sourcing costume according to their brief, and then, just handling the whole styling for the shoot. Right. Yeah. So I get there, it was actually a Speak Resort, and the team, Wabazungus from South Africa. I was like, how fancy.
They have like so many expectations. It's supposed to do
honestly, like as soon as I laid out like the clothes I'd prepped, they were like, this is more so what we wanted. Right. And that for me was so gratifying. Yeah. And also the fact that she herself, Juliana, was very, very graceful. Gali, very soft, very accommodative. She was not as intimidating as I thought she would be.
Right, because you think of the icon.
And you're like, oh my God, this is my very first time doing this. Right. I don't even know, Nice. And you know how picky some of these people can be. Like, I don't wear that. Like, now. But she was pretty chill, very nice, pretty open. And I was like, this is something I could actually do. And that was not a bad start because I started with a celebrity.
Right, yeah.
Big shots.
You're not easy. I know. But does your love for fashion, did it start from that random ad or does it go a little bit back?
No, honestly, when I was in school, it never crossed my mind that I would ever be in fashion. Never did.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. And even in my, I never even used to dress up. It never was my thing.
I can't imagine a world where, Tazibone is walking around like
it was never my thing. You should have seen my campus days, my friend.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I would dress like a, oh my God.
T-shirts and jeans.
These got big, these big short-sleeved button-down shirts. Jeans. That was like really my thing.
And you're like,
I was never fussy about what I would wear. It was never my thing.
Oh, interesting. And I feel like I've seen you work, and I feel like there's that kind of intuitive thing where it feels like you're just like, oh, you know what's missing here, you know what works, you know what to remove. And so I assume that it's just something that you've always been around.
Not really. It was much later.
Wow. Yes. What did you always want to be?
I honestly don't know.
Okay. Oh, you were just.
I don't, because even with the course that I pursued, it was really not what I wanted to pursue at campus. When I finished high school, I wanted to do art and industrial design. Right. But then I was, spoken out of it because then, my mom and my sister were like, no, it doesn't have high employment prospects. What do people that do art and industrial design do?
Yeah.
So they were like, look for something that's relatively new.
Yeah.
And then that's how I landed on microfinance.
I get you. That's a very common thing that I hear when it comes to the creative space. The support is usually very skeptical because parents, they want you to be comfortable, they want you to be stable, secure. So they're like, this hobby of yours, should do it on the side.
And it's funny because now it's like it's only now that they're beginning to realize we can actually monetize this.
Right.
Hobbies.
Yeah.
And especially given that it's not as saturated as the conventional employment that they really used to like to push on their children.
Yeah, because I feel like accountants are a dime a dozen. My God. My God. But when it comes to looking for a stylist, if you don't hear Tazibone's name within the first 3, you're in the wrong place. Go look somewhere else. No, it's a fact though. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I feel like that part where you're talking about the process of creating clothes while you were at Sylvia Owori, did that directly influence how you came up with this collection, like the process when it comes to like the sketching, supervising the tailors and stuff like that? Like we were talking a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to know how those two processes are similar.
Well, for me, say personally for this collection, you see the silhouettes are very, easy, they're not technical. So it did not involve as much time and supervision, especially given that I'm working with a very, very, very talented young man.
Okay, yeah.
So for me, it was an advantage because honestly, I have to be able to do other things whilst also doing this.
Yeah.
And the only way I can pull that off is when I have someone who really understands what they're doing. So yeah, it did, but then not as much. Yeah. Because I feel like the amount of work at hand is not as much as when, say, I was creating for a collection for Sylvia.
Yeah. It was really daunting.
It is. And the thing is, creators or creatives, we also suffer from creative block from time to time.
True.
And that is actually much more, taxing if you on a high pressure project, say creating a collection for a designer. Yeah.
What do you do when you have creative block? Are there things that usually get you thinking, get your mind moving?
Honestly, what I do is there's nothing, because people like to glamorize things.
Yeah. There's some people who might go on a hill, first leave their phone off and connect.
Talk with nature. Talk to nature.
I want to know your process. I know you talk to the trees.
Guys, just leave things alone.
Are you serious? Yeah.
I just leave things alone, and I'm like, you know what? When the time is right, this thing will go. And the juices will come back flowing. Yeah. But I don't romanticize that period.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Oh my God. But in the situation that there's a deadline, because now, I get exactly what you're saying, especially with the leave it alone. I'm that kind of person who, if it fails, I'll first put it to the side, pin it. I'll be like, I've pinned it in the back of my head. I do other things. But then there's a situation where something is needed 2 weeks from now. You can't necessarily just pin it and keep it pushing. What do you do? Honestly,
I would say my creative block does not go, it's not a very long thing. And I'm fortunate enough. Yeah. Because it doesn't take that long. So, and I know even the pressure helps, by the way. Pressure helps.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I guess, yeah.
You're like, You can procrastinate, but say the sketching book is there looking at you.
An empty sketching book? My God.
But honestly, creating for a designer, my God, it's tough. It's tough.
Okay.
It's so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's so much pressure.
So if a fashion house called you and said they want you to be their creative director, what do you say no?
If the money made sense.
Now, here's the thing.
For the right amount of money.
Don't say that I'm overing or what, but I feel like you should take over from Pharrell at LV.
Do you know how Pharrell is being roasted?
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Just this morning, I saw a TikTok, and then this creator was just reviewing, should have been about 5 or 6 pieces from his collection. And we're like, what is this?
I saw that.
And
when it's like about like the faces, and he's like, he has nothing to do, he's just showing us the faces or his faces.
And then you know how we went from outfit to outfit, and it's like, there's nothing that we have not seen.
Let me tell you, the biggest thing when I was seeing his transition into LV was, number one, worrying about like the mark that Virgil had left.
Those
and like
are
his
very
voice is
big
very
shoes
bold,
to fill.
you know?
Yeah.
And then also like he's very like streetwear skater boy style. And I was just like, okay, are we going to how is he going to finesse it?
The thing is, because he used to be like Billionaire Boys Club, right?
Yes.
And honestly, Billionaires Boy Club for me in a way kind of stood out because there was a thing going. So I expected to see those influences a lot.
Right.
But there's really nothing unique. Sorry to
Here's
say.
the thing.
Sorry to say.
If LV calls, hello.
Okay.
I know you'll pick up.
From your lips to God's ears.
Amen. Let's start from, what's your favorite styling moment so far?
My favorite styling moment?
Yeah. One where you're like, I ate.
Ooh, there have been a lot of them, my friend.
Yeah.
I do not think I have one particular one that I would, put above the others. Though I feel my favorite styling moments are the ones that have challenged me the most.
Okay.
Yes.
Which one
because
can
those
you
give me an opportunity to really think and get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, because I've put out a lot of work.
I remember there's that mermaid moment you did for Lydia.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Oh, that.
Okay.
Yes. So here's the thing. She calls herself the Ugandan Mermaid. She's been like using that for quite a while.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, what's this woman's fixation in my face?
Yeah.
This mermaid moment started over how many years ago? There was a year she wanted to do like a birthday shoot, and she wanted still mermaid costume. And I was like, I've never done things like this. So somehow, I put things together, and we even went and shot it by the lakeside.
Yeah.
And years after, for her maiden concert, she's like, obviously, Taz, you're gonna do some things for me. But then when she did mention she wanted a mermaid costume, because we're 4 actually, Abbas, Dina Vance, myself, and Q Senior.
Okay.
But when she did mention the mermaid one, all of them were like, that's what Taz.
Yeah.
That one is for Taz. I'm like, you guys are It was given to me even before.
Yeah.
Without my approval. So I'm like, you know what? I love a challenge, so let's get to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was scared. I'm like, this is not a shoot.
Right.
It's a God bleeping
Mermaid tail.
performance outfits.
Yeah.
Hey, hi. And you see, what goes behind also creating costumes for stage is you have to work hand in hand with the technical team, the lighting people.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you need to see how the colors, like, play with the background, the lighting, and all of that stuff.
Okay.
So we did not have ample time to even liaise with these people, because it was like pretty much. Honestly, we didn't have ample time for Jazmine's costumes. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go and source things that I think will work. So the idea I had, it had to be something that was iridescent, like, definitely glittery, because obviously for stage, even if I don't know what lights you're going to use, let me first use some shining. So yeah, I go to town. I saw sequin, because they had like a sequin bottom, and then picked up a bunch of stones and stuff, and then got to work. Now here's the thing: I did not get time to fit until added to the concert.
Stop.
I kid you not.
What do you mean?
So the concert is like, the concert is tomorrow. So I got to fit today. We all fit
that day before. My God.
Some were doing their final fitting, but for me it was my first fitting.
Yeah.
So I fit the first, because I did 2 costumes for the second set, the middle set. I fit the first one, noted the adjustments that were supposed to be done, which were a lot, by the way. And then for the mermaid one, she tries to get into it, because your legs have to be together, so you can't stand. So I pull the thing, guy, it doesn't go up. It's just, I did not have ample time.
Yeah.
So I had a few hours to the concert.
I understand something being too big and you can reduce it down. Now what happens when it's too fitted?
The thing is, I'd used stiff, like that stiff that sticks onto the garment when you iron it.
Yes.
We usually use it a lot in collars and stuff. So it limited how stretchy the bottom could get.
Gotcha.
So I realized I had to take it out.
Right. The entirety of it all?
No, it was just on the waist.
Oh, okay.
So it was what was limiting the rest of the,
Yeah.
So I had to take it out, and then also fix the other costume. And then usually before the performance, before the concert, we usually do like a shoot.
Yeah.
What the photo shoot does is, as soon as she gets on stage, then the pictures from the shoot are released. Right. So that you don't get those bad pictures people take.
Yes.
Yeah. And the first picture that moves is the one that
the first picture that sticks. Yeah.
Exactly. So we did the shoot, and then she couldn't, because we were running, like we were racing against time. She couldn't even try on the mermaid thing.
Yeah.
we were
freaking out as well.
We were rushed backstage now.
Yeah.
And I'd not fitted that thing to be sure. I even had a mini panic attack. Oh my God. Because when the first set was done, now it was like my set before even the first when the first set was almost getting done, and it was time for mine. It's when I was like,
sweating.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
Lillian happened to be there as well, and she helped calming me down. She's like, you know what, everything is gonna be fine. She had a little bit of whiskey. And she's like, use this to calm your nerves. She's like, it's going to be okay. And when she came and she tried it on, it just fit perfectly. I was like, she good.
I swear that, like, just hearing it is stressing me out. Like, I'm just like, what would? Oh my God! And like with a mermaid tail like that, she has to be like carried around.
No, obviously
after
she
work.
was, but what shocked me is when she was backstage getting hair and makeup, she actually stood in it.
Ah, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
she did stand in it, but the thing is she couldn't
Can't walk. So
because that bottom was sealed off. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that was, and then how it turned out for me, I was like really, really mind blown, because sometimes when you're like, backstage, you don't even get the time to go
to
into
properly
to
see it happen. Yeah.
But then people kept sending me messages, and they're like, "Oh my God, wow!" I'm like, "What's going on? Is there like a miss? I did not even want to look at my phone.
You thought they're going to be like, it was torn.
Oh my God, that was iconic. That was iconic.
Absolutely.
I still get likes.
Yeah, because of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That and very many other moments.
Oh yeah, very many. I remember when we had decided to do or to have Etania as the cover in April. Like in my mind, no one else crossed my mind. I was like, you guys, let's not play it ourselves. We put together the ideas like this. I said, Tazibone has to do this. If you are not available, I was going to wait.
Honestly, yeah.
Like
I also think so, because I do not want to say it's like that kind of style is kind of like my thing, because I like to think I'm flexible, but I also enjoy doing street, doing androgynous stuff,
okay,
doing funky stuff, like on tune, kind of like that direction. Like I really relish. Like
I mean, that's the thing. Like I haven't seen you do so much of like the androgynous thing, especially like on female clients and stuff like that. So it's hard to like imagine that moment happening. I feel like, especially for clients who are like looking in on your portfolio, there are times when they're just like, oh, he does this, he does. Okay, we can like see a common thread of something, and you're like, oh, this would be perfect for this vibe. Yeah. And so in my mind, when thinking about that, especially with the stuff that you've done with Vinka, in my mind I'm like, first of all, the muse herself looks like she would be comfortable playing around in something like that. I was like, it doesn't matter where the clothes are coming from. Me, I know that you'll pull it off.
And then the thing is, she's also very I did not know she was quite particular about some of the things, because there's a look that we selected.
I remember.
With Sandra, and we're like, oh my God,
and
this
so
is gonna
excited.
And that's the look we're most excited about. We're like, this is gonna eat.
Yeah.
And then we get to set, and she's like, guys, no.
Like even to try it on, she like jammed completely. But it was like, okay. For me, by the way, it was the leather jacket. When I saw the leather jacket moment, I was like, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
It's over. Like that was the look for me. But yeah. It's surprising though.
Sometimes you actually put things things together, and you've like really envisioned your client in this look, and you're like, oh my God, this is the look. Until you get to set, and they're like, oh my God, no.
Oh my, customized Kingo.
You're like, even if you dry, like the same way I was like, but you see, when it comes to like shoots like these, like editorial shoots where they are tapping celebrities, the celebrity has to be open, because we were trying to portray them in a different light. So it's not really up to them to be like, I don't wear this, I don't wear this.
She was not having it.
It's not gonna happen, bro.
Oh my
not
God.
Today.
Yeah. Who would be on your client wish list? Is there anyone that you look at and you want to dress them so badly?
Locally, internationally?
Can do both.
Locally, on my wish list, honestly,
I mean, I feel like you've
I've worked with almost everyone.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if I begin naming, it will take the entire day.
Yeah.
But
is there anyone whose like vibe is like fun that you're really enjoying, I guess?
That I'm enjoying, that I've worked with, or still wish list?
Not necessarily wish list, but like you see them and you're like, oh, okay, I see you. Yeah. Someone I have in mind.
Honestly, I feel like Ugandans, we do not have...
Wait, someone I have in mind.
Okay, let me first finish. I feel like most Ugandans, we do not have... Most people in the limelight, celebrities and whatnot, have not developed a signature sense of style.
Right.
Except besides the Elijah Chitaka. But it's very hard to, find like, the person, a Ugandan celebrity person in the limelight who has this very definitive thing that you see through all their outfit choices. You feel me?
But I feel like that's where you would come in as a stylist, because sometimes you may have like an inkling where you're like, oh, I see someone might have, if we just did some refining here and there, it would be so much more perfect. You know what I mean?
But it all comes down to whether they are willing to, though.
True.
And I feel most of them are not really open to the idea because they feel that's limiting.
Yeah.
That they do not get to explore as much as they would want to. Yes.
Okay, let's talk internationally. Who would you?
Internationally, Beyonce.
Period. We have done an entire season of this show. No one has ever said Beyonce before. I've gotten Rihanna a bunch of times. But Beyonce, I've never had that.
Why would anyone?
I don't know, like people, I feel like she's such a force. Like it would be so daunting to even start. Hey,
the thing is, when she released The Gift, very, very underrated album, but that album was gold. She tapped into a lot of African creatives.
Yes.
And watching some of their stories, I was like, oh my God, I hope one day I'm going to be in that space. Where someone basically, or someone on her team, like sources through like African designers, and they're like, this would work and that would work. And then you approach, and then you're like, and then they're like, we want to work with you. We've seen your work, and then you're flown out. You guys.
Let me tell you, her Renaissance era.
Phenomenal.
Act 1.
Phenomenal.
Mama.
Phenomenal.
Like the concert, the tour looks. Yo.
And the thing is, honestly, why people are still, people shouting. But when I release the Renaissance tour, like, what? When it came out, what were you guys?
Go to the theater, watch it from the theater.
Oh my God, it was wholesome.
Yeah,
I swear.
Yeah, I just love her artistry and how like intentional everything is. I feel like she does her research. That would be an amazing. Ooh, what of a designer that you'd love to work with?
A designer. Back in the day, I always wanted to work with Michael Kors. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Maybe it was because of his approach to fashion and his aesthetic. But then I think I outgrew Michael Kors. If I would mention, I think Schiaparelli.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Schiaparelli, but to see how much Daniel Roseberry has achieved, he also scares me.
My goodness. Like, let me tell you, what he has done with that house is amazing. Like, it's the one to watch.
To think I didn't even know about it.
Right, yeah.
And then only to learn that this fashion house had been around for God knows how long.
Let me tell you something funny. You know how earlier in the days the house used to beef with Chanel? And so coming up, I personally was a heavy Karl Lagerfeld Chanel fan. Every time you ask me, favorite designer? Chanel. But it was mostly Karl Lagerfeld Chanel.
Karl Lagerfeld's era.
Now,
Yes.
that era ended. As we know. And for the old rival to come back and just flip on its head and now be the one to watch every single time. Like the accessories, the gold of it all.
Everything
is so the silhouettes, like
elaborate. It's art.
It's so good. It's so good.
Art. Honestly, it's art.
Like I'm trying to think of one specific one, but there are so many that go through my head. Like the corsets.
Honestly, even just a chance to even be in a studio and see and look at them at work.
Period. Let's see. Is it Paris Fashion Week? Where they show? Is there any closet you'd rate? Someone's closet you'd rate? I mean, you said you don't have like a muse when it comes to personal style. If you got a chance in someone's closet, I think I have a suggestion for you. I don't know if it's someone that you rate.
Shoot.
Louis Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I called you, right?
Definitely. Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
I do not even know, how just like a Formula One person would be so create waves when it comes to fashion.
Yeah. Because I feel like when it comes to sports, like sportsmen or sports people, they usually focus on, doing this, and then they're like, whatever I wear afterwards, no one cares. But for him, he takes the moment and he uses it and he's just like having fun with it. I remember the last time that he drove for Mercedes-Benz, and then he shows up in like all red and everyone was just like, oh, it's a statement. He's like, this is his farewell, like he's going off to Ferrari.
Honestly, I feel like he's garnered so much traction when it comes to fashion. He could even collaborate with a design house.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like absolutely something that could be in the works. But like even his legacy also stands because like he has these amazing moments. So when you look back at the photos, you're like, damn, like he was that guy, like yes, he was number one in everything, but also like you look at the looks and you're like, I've allowed. I feel like that's a closet that you'd love.
Definitely, yes.
I think this is a good place that we can end this at. Thank you so much.
Follow Kredbasics on Instagram. Come on.
He knows what he's doing. As you've heard. So, thank you.
It's been so nice.
Yeah. Bye.